Hi everyone. This is a short session on how to use household props to create supports for the body in your restorative practice. The more we can support the body, the more restful these practices become. And the more we can rest, the better we sleep, the more relaxed we are, the more we're able to face any challenges in life. Quite a common setup could be to have a bolster angled over bricks and then have another support underneath the knees. So this can work for supported supine positions where you're reclining over the bolster and you're having the knees over another bolster. And we can create the support using different items that probably all of you have at home and accessible quite easily. So first of all, for the support underneath the knees, what may work quite well is a rolled blanket. And I have actually rolled two blankets into each other. So I'm starting with one blanket roll, quite a long and thin roll, and then I'm wrapping another blanket around it. And this can work for padding underneath the knees. It also works for many other situations. And then you can use books to create a similar setup as we have with the bricks here. And the books stacks can be different heights. Another thing that you can use instead of that is, for example, a pot. So this is quite a high pot, but I might want even more height. So I'm taking some books on top. I'm placing some books in front, and then this is a pretty good stack to support something like a bolster. Now, to create a bolster, if you have a rug at home which is quite soft, then you don't necessarily need a mat underneath you. So you could fold up your mat like this and place that over your stack, and then maybe use a standard pillow and place that on top. It's nice to have a blanket at the top to support the head, and then this can be just as good a setup as using bolsters and bricks, reclining. Now, another way to create this is to use a duvet and roll up the duvet, and then you essentially have a bolster created out of the duvet. So you retain the props that you already have. I have a standard duvet here rolled up, and you could use old ties or you could use belts to tie this together. And this could be a prop that you can keep for a little while if you don't require the duvet. Tie it together at the bottom so that none of the knots are cutting into your body. And then this could be propped up in the same way, blanket on top, and you're ready to go. Whether it's for reclining postures, whether it's for twisting shapes, where we bring the front body over this, whether it's for supported forward bends, maybe a child's pose, or maybe a sort of wide-legged forward bend, this can all work quite well. Another thing that is helpful to have is to support the hands in some way, particularly if the torso is elevated on the bolster. The hands will be further away from the floor, and to remove pressure through the hands, bringing the hands up can be useful. So you could have a little stack of books, or maybe you have a single book that is high enough and you want the backs of the hands to be on the books, and maybe the elbows are hovering, maybe the elbows are just about touching the floor. If you can lightly support the elbows on pieces of clothing, this can also work well. And then the last thing that really helps to drop into a state of relaxation is to have something over the eyes. So if you have an eye bag or an eye mask, you could use that and just draping that over the eyes. But it could be anything, of course. So if you don't have an eye bag, it could just be a small towel, and in the same way, draping that over the head and then relaxing into the pose. So I'm hoping that this has given you a few ideas of how to use items that you all have at home to support your restorative practice. Thanks for joining.